我们敬礼传承祖师，敬礼了明和尚。
Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Kung, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Dubden Tarji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today, the Golden Mother, Tiger Head Vajra. Sumo, Tanchen Katso, Duten Siddhi, all Dhamma masters, Dhamma educators, Dhamma teachers, Dhamma lecturers, Dhamma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do?
Aristeru, Shanane, Hola amigo, te quiero mucho. Skoin, Ichiba, Kimoji, Jumi, Yapi, Puri, Konnichiwa. 心脏，他们现在呢，先通知大家，下个星期
I would like to announce for next Sunday,
9号。
January 9th,
下午3点 PM，
3 p.m.
是莲花童子护摩。
There will be Padma Kumara Homa fire offering ceremony.
这一尊不用介绍。
There's no need to introduce this deity. Padma Kumara Homa fire offering ceremony.
很简单，就是这样子讲。
Very simple.
没有莲花童子
Without Padma Kumara,
就没有真佛宗，
there will not be True Buddha School.
一切都没有。
Nothing will exist.
这一尊呢，很多人也把莲花童子当成本尊。
Many people have Padma Kumara as their yidam in their meditational practices. Many of them.
其他的，我想不用再介绍。
And there's no need to introduce anything else.
不过有一件事情。
However, there's one thing that I should mention.
这个莲花童子他转世非常的多。
Padma Kumaras has many reincarnations.
有一个国度，
and one of the countries
其实在整个西藏来讲起来，
actually in all of Tibet,
其实除了这个雪山
other than the snowy mountain,
另外还有
the great
象山，
snowy mountains. That's also the Tangxiang mountain.
党象山也是在西藏，党象山也
And
是在
the Tangxiang mountain or Tangut
那边有
mountain
一组人
is also in Tibet.
离开了党象山，
There was a group of people that left the Mount
到了
Tangut
祁连山，
and went to
在
Mount
祁连
Qilian.
山的河西走廊
And in
建
the
立了一个
western
就是西向
ravine,
王朝，
they established a country or kingdom called the
共有10个
Tangut Kingdom, or the Western Xia dynasty.
大白高国，
And they have a total of 10 emperors.
我记得是大白
And
高
in the ancient time,
大白
it was called the Great White High Country.
观世音菩萨的国度，
So it was the country that the white Padma Kumara
所以
established
大白高
based on Hiking Sutra.
就是大白莲花童子建立的高
So,
观世音的国度。
so the country of the Hiking Kuan Yin Sutra is called the Great White High Country. The country was not big,
多的东西
but many things
也是一种文化，
that we inherit from this Western Xia
高
dynasty,
王观世音真君，
including the whole country chanted the Hiking Kuan Yin Sutra,
这10个
and
法
it
义
had 10 kings or
当
emperors,
中就有莲花童子的转世，
and some of them were reincarnations of Padma Kumara.
记得蒙古大帝国
Do you remember the Mongolian dynasty?
成吉
The founder was Genghis Khan or 铁木
他在
真.
统一整个蒙古
He united the whole Mongolia
蒙古大帝国是
all the way to Europe. It was a huge
大白
kingdom.
高国啊，只是一个很小的
And this
河西走廊，
great
祁连山下
Great White High Country was in the Hersi corridor, the west of the river corridor, very small.
大白高国
However, every time Genghis Khan made an attack to this
都
country
没有成功，
for a total of 9 times, and he never succeeded.
都没有成功。他反而
Never
其实
succeeded.
看在打任何一个国家，那时候蒙古
At
大
that
帝
time,
每一个国家就视
the empire of the Mongolia
一下子
attacked
就
many countries, and
只有一次，
very fast they would win every
大白
time.
高国
However,
9次
in the attack to this great white high country,
那就是忧郁
they attacked 9 times and never succeeded. And Genghis Khan died from depression.
忽必烈
And then later on, Kublai
高
Khan
国灭掉，
was the one that destroyed this
有这样的历史。
great white high country, or the Tangut kingdom.
大白高国
This is
大
history.
白莲花童子
So the great white high country
高
was
王观世
established by White Mahapadmakumara, a country for of Hiking Kuan Yin Bodhisattva.
一段历史。
That was a history from the past.
今天我们这个是做斧头金刚的。
Today we perform Tiger Head Vajra Homa.
为什么瑶池金母是
Why
现这个老虎的这个形？
Golden Mother manifested a tiger form.
道家五老。
In Taoism, we talk about the 5 elders.
好像我们佛教里面呢一样。
The same as in Buddhism.
东方阿出国、阿出佛。
Akshobha Buddha in the east. Amitabha Buddha in the west.
中央毗卢遮那佛。
Vairocana Buddha at the center. Ratnasambhava Buddha in the south. And Amoghasiddhi Buddha in the north. They are the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. In Taoism, they also have the 5 directional golden sages. In the east, the great Emperor Donghua from the east. If you watch the TV series Eternal Love, there is Emperor Donghua in it. This Donghua Dijun is a golden sage without any desire in his heart. He is one with heaven and earth, a golden sage. However, what's written in the TV series Eternal Love was just made up. There was no such thing as romantic love for the golden sage. They have good imagination. If someone is very glib and talks really, then you give them a basket to let them continue to weave the story. So in the east is Donghua Dijun, in the west Golden Mother, at the center is the Huang Lao, the yellow elder, and in the north is the water god, and in the south is the fire virtue. That's the 5 elders. In the west is Golden Mother. The east is the blue dragon. The west is the white tiger. So blue dragon, white tiger, red phoenix, and black turtle. So the west belongs to the element gold. That's why we refer to her as Golden Mother, or the and the east belongs to the element wood, and the west is Golden Mother, and blue dragon in the east, white tiger in the west. That's why at her origin there is the tiger head Vajra. That's the origin. Golden Mother is extremely compassionate. However, for people who violate the precepts, very stern and punished like the fierce tigers. So she's both compassionate and ferocious. So Golden Mother has 2 characteristics. One is as ferocious as a tiger
就像老母，
and as compassionate as the old mother.
一个是老母，一个是老虎。
In Chinese, they rhyme.
做佛金刚，师尊现在床头所供奉的，
So we perform this Tiger Head Vajra Homa, and Grandmaster also enshrined the Tiger Head Vajra
非常
at
灵应的，非常灵应的
the headboard of my
讲什么
bed.
应什么。
Very responsive. Whatever I ask, I get.
然后我跟他讲说，晚上我要见什么人，
If I told,
今天晚上
if I tell her who would I like to meet, then sure enough, that night I would see that person.
未来的事情呢，他也会给我启示。
And she would also
明天
give
你要写
me
什么文章，
predictions about what will happen in the
明
future,
天早上起来
and then what articles I would write the next
你要
morning.
写什么文章，
And she would tell me
他
at
都把
night.
文章让我看，然后我跟
She would let me see the article, and then I would write it according to her
非常灵验，
advice
只是
or
放在床
clues.
头，也没有
Very
买水果，没有
responsive.
买香，只是每
I
天
just
早上
place
跟他
it
讲 Good morning，
on my headboard. I
讲
did
Good
not.
night，
I do not lit incense or make offerings. I just say good morning in the morning and good night at
这
night
个做超度的时
before
候，
bed.
请你做足，
When I do Bardu deliverance, I would pray to her to take charge and
我们连
give
水都没有
blessings.
碰，连
I don't even offer water,
我只是跟他合
no
掌，
fruits or anything. I just join my palms.
然后我就跟他讲，
Then I would tell
不要
her,
吃，你想吃什么东西，
if you like to eat something, you can go find it in the fridge.
就是跟他们这样子讲。
That's what I
平时
tell them.
我有每一餐我吃什么东西有的供养，
But every time when I
吃
eat,
什么东西有供养。
I would make offering first to them.
这一个笑话，
This is a joke.
他会不会笑？
Don't know if it's funny or not.
跟闺蜜一起出国旅游，航空公司班机上
I traveled with my best friend,
是猪排跟牛肉，牛
and
排。
on the plane there there's menus,
空中小姐为了时间只问
pork and beef or beef,
你是猪
and the stewardess, just to save time, she would ask,
合作的回答。
are you a pig or cow? No, actually pork or beef, but in Chinese.
请问四位，猪还是牛？这个闺蜜
Yeah, this is only.
我们4个都是猪。
And my best friend replied, all 4 of us are pigs, actually pork. It's only meaningful in Chinese.
真的是猪队友。
That's a group of pigs.
老师问小明：
The teacher
你为
asked
什么要
Xiaoming,
在我的课堂上睡觉？
why do you sleep in my
小
class?
明站起来大声讲：
And
你
Xiaoming
为什么
stood
要
up
在
and
我睡觉
said,
的时候上课？
then why are you giving a lesson when I'm sleeping?
还没有道理的。
Unreasonable.
这个听清楚了。阿花在人事课上班，上星期呢调到楼下的总务处。
Ahua work at the human resources,
打到人事课，
and then last week was moved to the
他是这样。
to the administrative
请问阿花
downstairs, and then her friend make a phone call. Is Ahua there?
他已经不在人世了。
Yeah, this is also a play of joke in Chinese.
对方这个好朋友讲，啊，怎么会呢？他什么时候走的？这个直言回答，上个星期。
Yeah. This is like she's not in the personnel department, but it sounds like it's not in the world anymore. Yeah.
没关系啦，你要去找他，你就下楼去找他就有，到下面去找他就有。很好笑。这个马来西亚莲花美一问的。
A question from Malaysia asked by Lian Hua Mei. How do you do, Grandmaster Amitabha?
当义工帮忙处理写超度和祈福附魔片的。
I work as a volunteer in the registration part at the temple, and because there's not enough people to get everything done, so I took the initiative to take them home for those who registered for registrations. And a fellow disciple told me, don't bring them home, because otherwise the registrants, ancestors, attached spirits, or karmic creditors, or baby spirits, or the deceased would follow us home and would affect us and the family members to be affected by the spirits. So I don't dare to bring them home anymore. So, but I want to get the right answer. So could you please confirm? Because I find it strange and confused. Does it mean that all the temple work has to be done at the temple and we cannot bring them home to work on them? Thank you for helping answer this question. So she writes the Homa cards at the registration section because it's not done yet. More work than people, so she brought them home, and it said, "Okay." Let me ask all of you, what do you think? Like those who registered for Bardo deliverance, and then she brought them home and then wrote them at home. She's just a volunteer in the registration division. Do you have any opinions one way or another? None? Someone has opinion. Please stand up and say. Okay, please have a seat. Anybody else?
Ah. 我留在庙做那个东西比较好。
因为那有时候那个灵不干净，会做成那个干扰。都是师尊讲的对，我不懂。
It's best to do it at the temple, but I don't know. This question is something that we never thought of. She's a volunteer at the temple, so writing the registration forms and homework cards. So she brought them home. So does that mean that she will bring all the spirits home? Or should she finish it at the temple? But it's not enough people to finish the work. So I never thought of this issue. Yeah, me from Malaysia.
请问这个到底可以带回家吗？你就讲说 yes.
Is it okay to bring home? Then say yes. If cannot, then say no. So we have the answer now, but it's the same as no answer.
他说有的人呐，你把他带回家做。
Some people can bring them home,
把他带回家做。
but some people cannot bring them home.
有的人可以，有的。
So fine for some people and not for others.
这莲家上师讲的，他说心里如果没有
Master Lian Jia said, if you have no worries, then it'll be fine. But according to Grandmaster, if your body is easily attached by spirits, then you should not. But bodies that do not get attached by spirits easily, then you can do it. So it depends. So what Master Lian Jia said makes sense. Like if you have no worries, no problem about it, then of course it's okay. And her body also has no tendencies to attract spirits, then it's fine. But if you are easily bothered by those spirits, then you should not. Everybody have different constitutions. Like in the middle of the night, I walk in the cemeteries, in the graveyard, 24 hours to consult feng shui and to have the coffin to enter the ground. The hour was chosen to be midnight in Taiwan, in Kwansangfeng. There were all graveyards everywhere. And there were several followers that we went up the hill, and at the right hour we placed the coffin in. Sometimes it's at midnight, because we chose that hour that is good for the deceased and his family. So in the middle of the night, I would climb all over graveyards. Patusan. There was a beautiful lady that told me that she wanted to go. So there were several of my disciples, Zhang Huangming, Liao Yichun, sometimes Lian Si, Lian Zhu, They all followed me in the middle of the night to go up the mountain. We were not afraid. Even when we roam around the graveyards, those were places where people shriek, but we still do our work then. There was a beautiful lady from Changhua that followed us. I forgot her name. She looked good. And she thought we were having fun, but when we got to the graveyards and she thought, ooh, a real thing. And when she heard some sound like made by grass, a tiny grass, and then she just hugged someone, Zhang Huangming, who's tall, and she just dig her head in his chest, and he took the opportunity to hug her even tighter. And Zhang Huangming now has left the world, has passed away. I will never be attached or attacked by spirits. But if your feng shui consultation is wrong, one time I made a mistake. I was not careful enough then. At a place called Dajingtou Cemetery. How did I make the mistake? They didn't tell me where the head is. If the tombstone is here, and when the coffin is placed, the head is here, and the feet is at the tombstone, and the head is at the furthest point of the tombstone. So when they place it down, it's the other way around. So the head is at the tombstone, and the feet is at the other end. So that night, the spirit came to find me and told me, "You misplaced me." And immediately I corrected it. So, if the spirits come and find you and yet you are not aware, then you would be attached by the spirit. So this is important. People who are easily attached by spirits, they will. But people who are not easily attached by spirits, then they won't. I have a disciple who always gives feng shui consultations, and eventually he was attached by spirits and not just one. So if you make mistakes with the living feng shui for the living people, it's still okay. But if you do it for the dead people, and they come to find you, then that would be horrible. The whole family would be affected.
师母回答可以带回家写护摩木，没问题，因为那个还没有执行法会，还没有加持，
Sumo replied,
进烧，没问题。
"There's no problem to bring them home to do, because it's before the ceremony and before being burned into the Homa fire." But what I said is, if you're not easily attached by spirits, you can do it. Because I discover at our home. Because now I do the bardo deliverance of the 1,000 vessels. Some people come early, some people come late. It's not your turn yet, and you already come so early. Then what should I do? Then they would stay at the hotels of my house. And where would they stay? I told you, right, that the bamboo sections are empty. There would be over 10 of them inside one section. Some people can hide inside the walls. Even when there are no hollow spaces like cements, they can hide in there too. And in the hallway, as I walk back, they sneak their heads out. Why? They ask for Grandmaster's blessings. And then I touch their heads all the way back to my bedroom. And also inside the cabinets, as seen by Sumo. And there was one that went hiding. And as the door closes, he was caught in between, and the head fell out, and he extended a hand to pick up the head. So some people come early, some people got late, and some people that it's just the right time to get on board the vessels. And we have many gods that check on the spirits. And there's some that come early and they can stay in the hotels. That's all I can say. It depends on the individuals whether you would be bothered or not by the spirits. And the second question also from Malaysia. The family name is Gan. In Grandmaster's books number 266, the Golden Verses, article number 125, it talks about tantric spiritual cultivation to transform the solid into liquid, and from liquid into gas, and then the gas into spirit, and spirit into light. Only this is called attainment. And I say this is the key formula of spiritual cultivation. It's extremely important, utmost important. The first question is, how do we transform the solids into liquid, and then lastly into light? And second, how do we know that we have reached liquid or gas or light? And then how do we know at what state we are now? Amitabha. These questions is troublesome. In tantric practices, first we transform the solid state into liquid, and from liquid to gas, from gas to spirit, from spirit to light. So let me tell you, ice is solid. When it encounters heat, it would become liquid. Like today,
混装玉镯，混装玉镯。今天外面的雪是粉装，液体呢是固体呢，就是冰。
It's like a powder,
外面的风又很大，
solid, the ice.
飘下来啊，整个
It's really windy,
出去外面点护摩火，
and the ice, snowy ice,
旁边的这个风
just flew all over. When I went out to lit the Homa fire, with the bursts of
盐
wind,
粘在你的脸
and
上，
it's like salt. It's all stick to my head and my feet everywhere.
哦，
It blew on me.
真的很冷。
That was really
告诉
cold.
你，固体就是冰，
So solid is ice. It becomes liquid, that would be water, becomes
就
gas,
是把这个水融化，
which when you evaporate the water, that would be gas.
然后气体呢，
And then
再
from
变为
gas,
神，
it becomes the spirit.
再神再化为光，
And the
这
spirit
个才叫成
transform into
修
light.
行的果结，是要
And
这样
that is called attainment. This is the key formula of spiritual practice of
这里有
utmost
菩提
importance.
心业，
We have Bodhi chakra here,
在眉心轮有菩提心业，
here at the brow chakra.
是固体，
We have the solid light drops. It's ice, the whole
你要
block
用
of
手
ice
把它变
here.
热，
And how do you heat it so that it can drip?
就是用着火，
You use the inner fire.
你身体的温度升高，着火上升，
When your body temperature increases, the inner fire rises all the way to the brow chakra and to touch the body chakra,
在你的
and then it would liquidify,
互相融合，一
and
直在燃烧。
you have both the fire and water to fuse, to merge together in the 5
这个气体
chakras, then it would become
就
gas,
变成命气，
and it becomes the life qi,
再给它融，再给它融，
and you melt the life qi
变成
even
气体
more.
以后，它可以跑到全身各地。
After it becomes the gas state, it can go all over the channels,
然后水跟火交融
all over your
的时候
body.
它会产生光。
When the water and fire merge, it would emit light, would
像火在
transform
燃
into
烧的时候
light.
也是光。
So when the fire is burning,
把
that
水
is
煮
also
开的
light.
时候啊，那个水
When the fire burns the water would become gas or
也
vapor,
会化为光。
and the gas can also become
所以我们
light.
气脉明点的道理就是这个样子。密教
So that's the concept of chi channels and light drops
你
in Tantrayana.
如果把这个液体
If
变成液体的时候啊，液体流掉了，
when it becomes a liquid and then you let it emit it out of your body, that's called
泄，
emission.
液体保住了，
But if you can retain the liquid, that's called non-leaking.
啊，既然有了液体，你就让火给它烧，
If you already have the liquid, then you use the fire to burn it and it would transform into qi. And the qi would flow
那既
in
然
all the
用火
channels.
烧了水，
And since you use fire to burn the water to become qi, to become gas,
变成一种光明出来，它是一
it
种
also can become light.
就是神。
And because it's a kind of
能够这样子讲啊，简单这样子讲。
fuel, so
请问师尊，
that's the spirit. That's all I can say simply.
用着火。
How do we transform the solid into liquid? You use inner fire to melt it.
然后化为光，因为着火本身就是
and then transform into light because the inner fire itself is light.
着火本身就是光。
The inner fire is
那气
light.
体被你这个火烧到成为气体的时候，它会化为神。
And when the gas is burned by the inner fire, it would become the spirit.
身体自然光明就可以从你的
When it reached in the all over the body in the channels, then it would become light being emitted by the body.
这个液体呀，也是油，也等于是油的一种。
So liquid
是油一样，
is the same as the oil.
加上油，
That's light
就更
drops.
加的光明。
And
这
then
就是光。
when you add oil to the fire, it would becomes brighter, and that's the light.
因为你这里有个
How do you know if you have attainments
水滴下
that you have reached liquid? Because you can feel that here at the brow point, there are water dripping every time the inner fire is touching it, and then you retain it, and you don't want it leak. Then you become
知道
non-leaking.
目前自己是哪个阶段？
How do we know at what state we are? Is it solid, liquid, or
你感觉到
it's simple?
有水
If you can feel there's water
你的眉心轮往下滴，
dripping from your brow chakra,
水往下，
and you can feel the sensation yourself, then that's the state of
感觉
liquid.
到左火已经这个际轮这地方发热，
And if you feel that the inner fire at the navel chakra is warm, and then when the fire rises, you know, and you could feel there's fire.
光就会化为
And then when the two merge together here, it would become light, and the light transform into the
一个是
spirit.
清凉的，
One is warm or hot, one is cool. The liquid is
那
cool.
火呢是热的，
The inner fire is hot.
这是密教里面的。好，
That's in the tantric Buddhism, tantric practices.
这个老钱养了多年的鸽子，那叫鸽子。
Lao Qian raised pigeons for many years,
鸽子死了，老
and
钱
it died.
他不想土葬，
And Lao Qian was really sad and did not want to
回到大自然，
bury it, wanted to cremate it, and then scatter the ash in the ocean to return to the
后
nature.
来他就买了
But during the cremation, it's the more
来告诉大
he
家，
burned
很
the
多事
pigeon,
做着做着，
the more fragrant it is. So he bought 2 bottles of beer.
是怎么？是
So many
想要
people,
做的，
as they walk further and further, they forgot their
你忘掉初
original intention. Some people became ordained as monks and nuns, and the
做着做着
aspiration in the beginning was good, but as they walk along, they forgot about it.
一个人到了中年的时候，等于是一部的《西游记》。
When we reach middle age, it's like the novel Journey to the West.
唠叨叨，
Some people is like the monk, tongues, sanjang, always nagging,
悟空的压力，孙悟空
or
的
the
压力
pressure of the Monkey
这
King
个
because he wore a band around his head.
走的头有压力，人到中年就有压力，有猪八戒的身材，
Or you have the figure of the precept pig,
当然是没有腰的，
of course,
肚大起来，
no waist
有
and
沙
big
和尚的
belly,
发型，因为它中间是地中海。
and the hairstyle of the monk Sang, because it's bald at the center. and primarily is getting closer and closer to the Western paradise or to heaven, closer and closer. Grandmaster has passed middle age. Now I am at my youth. The teacher said, if you think you're stupid, please stand up. And the students look at each other and no one dared to stand up. Only Ming stood up. And the teacher thought, do you think you're dumb? And Xiaoming said, no, teacher. I just want to accompany you. Ming is very smart. Okay, now we'll continue on the Vajra Sutra. Subhuti, the Tathagata speaks truthfully, realistically, appropriately, without deceit and without prejudice. Subhuti, all the Dharma or anything obtained by the Tathagata are neither real nor false. Subhuti, if a bodhisattva dwells on anything while performing acts of giving, it is as if he is in the dark, he will not see anything. But if a bodhisattva does not dwell on anything when performing acts of giving, then he is not blinded and will be able to see all sorts of forms as if the sun is shining. Subhuti, in future lives, should there be good men and good women who can accept and uphold, read or recite the sutra, they will be known and seen by the Tathagata through his wisdom, and they will attain vast and boundless merits. I finished reading it all of the chapter, but let me just explain this sentence. Subhuti, the Tathagata speaks truthfully, realistically, appropriately, without deceit and without prejudice. Today we will only cover this. This sutra is talking about the true reality or the real phenomena. And the real phenomena is without any phenomena, is non-phenomena. Without any phenomena. The Buddha said, he speaks truthfully, realistically, genuinely, appropriately. So the true reality is like what I said, without deceit, without lying, without prejudice, not speaking two different things, just one kind. The only true reality or real phenomena, and the real phenomena is non-phenomena. Basically, nothing exists. That's the simple explanation of the statement. If you go deep into it, you would know. Let me tell you, now I am giving Dharma teaching here. It's true that there is Sangyen Lu seated on the Dharma throne, and the Rainbow Temple is also real. You can see it. And today there are wind and snowstorm, and you have seen it. And you have seen the Homa Hall.
这个不是真实的。
Isn't that
你看你的左右
reality?
坐的是谁？
Look at
左边右边坐的人是谁？
to your sides and who are sitting next to you, and you have seen them. How
我们
can
讲
it
什么都没有呢？
how can it be not real? How do you say that nothing exists?
先看的
What you see today
接触的都是真实的。师尊在这里说法，你们
what you encounter, they're all real. Grandmaster's giving Dharma teaching here, you're listening down there,
印尼来的，
and the one from Indonesia, Lian Yan,
你看吗？这个这巴西来的，连家，
and from Brazil, Lian Jia,
你看吗？这个某某地方来的，连恩，
and Lian En,
你看嘛，那4个
from
坐在
somewhere.
那里呆呆的，
And those 4 who just sit there dumbfounded.
大家都认得啊。
We all recognize them. Aren't they real?
怎么讲都没有，没有
How
说
can you
谎，
say that they're not here?
也没有
No
法
one
则
to speak the Dharma, no one to listen to the Dharma, and no such things as Dharma. How do you differentiate them?
释迦牟尼佛讲，实相
Sakyamuni Buddha said that the real phenomena is non-phenomena. And he is the one who speaks the truth.
难道我们讲
He speaks truthfully. So does that mean that we
坐那里
speak untruthfully? Tanchen Katso is seated there,
上师啊，
and the piano master,
剩下2个我们不谈。
and the other 2, let's not talk about
不
them.
过是2个确实是实实在在的人啊，
But they are real people.
这不是很真实吗？
Aren't they real?
我告诉你一件事情，那个叫做
Let me tell you one thing.
生情。
That's called you perceive
目前
due
的
to the sight or seen.
感觉到你眼睛看到的，
So it's your momentary
你甚至于
sensation or
你
perception.
你看到那个
You
形
see it, or you see the form,
那都是意识，按照佛所说的，
according to the Buddha.
一时
That's
间
just for a moment.
今天大家坐在这里，你看看左右的，左右
So you're seated today and look at people next to you, and then look again next week. They would be
下个
different.
礼拜再来，就不
And the following week, when you come, it would be different. When are you
星
leaving?
期三走啊，
Wednesday.
你看嘛，星期三就没有了，下个礼拜
See, next week, after Wednesday or next week,
不一样
she won't be here anymore. It'll be
下个礼
different.
拜你就不见了。
Next week, you'll be gone. How about Lian Yan?
12号，那下个礼
Leaving
拜
on 12th. So next week, you're still here. But will you sit at the same spot?
对呀、
Right.
会变的，不是真实，
It will change.
真实
It's not
会
real.
变的，
The real one will never change.
不会变的，
The one
唯有
that
空
never
不变的
changes is
任何
only
东西
emptiness.
会变的都会变的。
Anything else will change. is ever changing.
像那个一对情人海誓山盟。
Like a couple of lovers with a promise, swearing an eternal promise. Even when the ocean dry up and the rocks rot, but my love for you will never change. My vow is like the ocean and the mountains. That is called bull. Bullshit. No such thing. Romantic love will always change. Loving you for tens of thousands of years. Who sang that song? Liu Dehua. I don't know if he ever changed. That's just blowing his horn. Boasting. Anything, according to the Buddha, is ever changing. A second, a minute, an hour, at any time, it's always changing. Everything is impermanent. Everything is ever changing. Love and feelings are always changing. It's the same with the couple. Husband and wife are the same as mutually cheating. I mean, this is play of words of Chinese. Homophone. I lie to you today, you lie to me tomorrow, we cheat each other. So what is the true reality? The only thing that never changes is the Buddha nature. It is emptiness. Nothing to own. Someone wrote a song about enlightenment by the great master Yongjia. There are 6 interests in the dream, but at the end, it's all empty. So, in the dream, so the dream refers to the human life. So the 6 interests are the heavens, asura, human, hells, hungry ghosts, and animals. Huh? Is that what it is? We also have the 6th rebirth cycle. I forgot to mention it last night. If you have karma, you would have the 6 reincarnations, 6 rebirth cycle. Unless your karma is emptied, then you would attain the Tao. Lastly, it would be all empty. If you have been enlightened, then you would know it's empty. Even the 3,000 great thousand worlds are non-existent. We have one sun and one moon. That's one small thousand world, and 3,000 small worlds is one medium world, and 3,000 medium world is the same as one great world, and 3,000 great thousand worlds. Just imagine how big the world would be. So the 3,000 great thousand worlds in Buddhism is like that. So a system with one sun and moon, that's one small world, and then 1,000 small worlds. That would make one medium world. But eventually, all the 3,000 great thousand worlds are non-existent. That's written by Master Yongjia. So in the dream, the 6 realms are existent, but lastly, the 1,000 worlds are all empty. So the Tathagata speaks truthfully, realistically, accordingly, without deceit and without duality. Nothing exists. What do you think? What Sakyamuni Buddha said, is that the truth? In the past, I went to France and saw the Eiffel Tower. Oh, that's how it is. Now I'm not in France and I don't see the Eiffel Tower. But in my memory, there is an Eiffel Tower. Is that real? What's in your memory? There is a form of Eiffel Tower in my brain. I also went to the Thames River and I know what it looks like, and I've been to Holland and know how the houses are built there. I've visited the Alps, and I've seen how they look. I've been to Switzerland and saw the lakes. I've visited Germany and Munich, München. I've visited the BMW car factory. They're all in my memory. But if you've never visited them, but you have seen the pictures, you also have that image, right? If you don't go there again, it feels as if it's the past life. Perhaps we can go again, or perhaps not in this lifetime. Like the spiritual center in Spain keeps inviting us to go, but it depends on our time. So all we have in our brain is from the photo of that spiritual center in Spain. So because we have perception, it makes you feel they exist, but if you don't see them, it would feel as if they don't exist. If you don't hear them, then they would become non-existent. For example, in Malaysia, there was the Hozi, someone who's defamed Grandmaster on the internet, and Yao Zhong from Singapore who slandered Grandmaster, and several people in Taiwan who slandered Grandmaster. But Grandmaster has no cell phones, no computers, no tablets. I just never see them. Someone printed it for me. Simu printed a lot. I wanted to show them to me, but I told her, I don't want to read them. Just throw them away. So they're liberal and defamation. And some people told me, it's really horrible. But I don't feel it because I don't know. I haven't seen them. I haven't read what they wrote. I don't know what they wrote. I don't keep it in mind. And I don't keep it in my heart or on my mind. So basically, nothing's there. No stress, no pressure whatsoever, not the slightest. I didn't feel anything because you perceive and you would feel it because you see, that's why you would feel the pressure, but if you don't, you feel no pressure at all. And you defame me, you slander me, I don't feel anything because I didn't see and I didn't hear. So no pressure whatsoever. Of course, if you see it and hear it, then there would be pressure. So you close them off. Then no stress whatsoever. So completely empty. I don't know if this explanation is right or not. Five. 5:31. So now I become anxious because I see the clock. If I don't, I can continue until 6. So this is called you sense it because you perceive it, or you perceive it because you see it. So Lao Tzu said, if you are a scholar, you would absorb knowledge, then you would become a knowledgeable scholar. But if you want to train in the Taoist practice, then you want to discard. Every day you discard some. When you throw away all your garbage, you become pure. Your afflictions are emptied, your hindrances are emptied, your habitual tendencies are all thrown out. So you throw them out piece by piece: greed, anger, delusion, doubt, pride. And so you throw them out little by little until they are completely gone. Then you would attain the Tao. So for the Tao, you lose or you discard. For the Tao, you empty and you cleanse and empty all the bad things. Then you can attain. But for study, you gain. But for the Tao, you lose. So for the Tao, you want to throw out all the garbage. So that's spoken by Lao Tzu. It's the same as Sakyamuni Buddha. Then you eradicate your karma little by little, then you would be completely empty and you would attain the Tao. That would be the real Tao. spoken by the Bodhisattva, that's spoken by the Buddha, then you have nothing whatsoever inside your heart or mind. You have no karma, you have no 6 rebirth cycle. Nothing at all. The 6 rebirth cycle is due to your karma. If you have good karma, you're born in the heaven, asura, and human realms. If you have bad karma, you would be born in hells, hungry ghosts, and animal realms. And humans are amidst birth and death, birth and death, always in the cycle. If you want to abandon the rebirth cycle, today I speak truthfully to empty all your karma. All your karmic transgressions should be emptied in order to attain the Tao, in order to attain Buddhahood, or to become a Bodhisattva. Om Mani Padme Hum.